But right now, we're joined by one of the most, in my opinion, outspoken and intelligent members of the Patriot movement / alternative media, because he's really a pioneer in that as well. His YouTube videos going viral all over the place. One of the few people that actually does what he says and calls into places like Hannity and Savage and Limbaugh, gets on the air and turns those into viral videos as well. Mark, thanks for joining us.
Hey, no problem.
All right, so why don't you tell people about this new project? It's available over at Infowars.com. We discussed it on my show a couple of weeks ago. It's Illuminati, Fact versus Fiction. And how big is this book? I think it's like 400 pages or so?
The book's just over 400 pages, and I decided to focus more on the Illuminati. The Resistance Manifesto kind of looks at all of the New World Order, their institutions, the secret societies, their philosophies, how it fits in with Bible prophecy. So the Illuminati Facts and Fiction is more of a secular viewpoint, looking more specifically at the Illuminati, evidence of the existence and continued existence of the Illuminati, their institutions, their activities, individuals that claim to be members. If anybody's been into this for more than just a few months, you know that there's very popular videos out there by William Schneblin claiming to be a former member of the Illuminati. You probably heard the audio of this man named John Todd claiming to be a former Illuminati member back in the 70s. You've heard the allegations of the Illuminati being interdimensional beings working with aliens underneath in the underground tunnels. And so I decided to really take a look at all of the claims, all of the people, the evidence, the sources for it. What is the fact? What is a possible exaggeration? What is speculation? What is a lie? And the book also covers a lot of the fictional representations of the Illuminati in novels, television shows, books, the Da Vinci Code, the Angels and Demons, which we can get into later, which is being released as a film next Friday, May 15th, which is going to bring the Illuminati sort of from the underground fringe, if you will, into the mainstream consciousness, but in a very tainted and false way.
Mm-hmm. And, that's such a good point, because a lot of people out there, they'll call me, what do you think about this, Jason? What do you think about this? Or they'll promote a theory that they just read on, the above top secret website at 3 a.m. and hadn't looked into anything, just, went through this little message board, and you're covering this up, you're covering that up, or you're lying about this. This really is trying to get to the heart of the matter on what we need to focus on and how we can show people that this does really exist. And in fact, you just republished another book, Proofs of a Conspiracy, that goes through a lot of this hardcore evidence.
Yes. For those who don't know, Proofs of a Conspiracy was published back in 1798 in English by a man named John Robison. And it floats in and out of print, and so I republished it, and it's available on Infowars.com, and it has the original writings of Adam Weishaupt, of the other members of the original Illuminati. And so we look at a lot of modern researchers, very credible people today, Jim Mars, Tex Mars, and others that talk about the Illuminati. But I am under the belief that in order to fully understand something, you need to go back to the beginning. If you want to understand cars, you need to first find out how engines work on a very basic level, or computers. You need to see the history of it, how it evolved, how the fundamentals started, and then you can have a better working idea of what's happening today, how the complex systems are functioning. So I took the liberty of republishing John Robison's fantastic book, which is very, very interesting when you read the words of Adam Weishaupt, and the letters from Adam Weishaupt and other original Illuminati members were published back in the late 1700s after they were discovered, after their members were arrested. And if you read those writings, it's very interesting to see what their goals were back then, and then you look at these modern organizations, the Bohemian Club, Skull and Bones, the Bilderberg Group, and it's exactly to a T what the original group had planned. Taking over the media, secretly creating a backroom network to take over positions of power, back in the 1700s, the only media really was print shops, and the mass printing was just getting started. There was obviously no radio or television, but they knew back then to take over the printing houses. And so I think John Robeson's book is really one of the key and first books ever published on the Illuminati shortly after their discovery.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, it only helps us to actually know your enemy, and let's see what they had to say for themselves and then interpret it from there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Tex and Jim Mars, but they're secondhand sources. So let's hear it straight out of the horse's mouth. Now, I got a call earlier from somebody who wanted to hear your opinion. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Aleister Crowley. I'm sure he has a place in this new book, the Illuminati Facts versus Fiction. I know he's mentioned in the Resistance Manifesto. But his relation to Kinsey, apparently there's a book out there called Kinsey Crimes and Consequences, where Kinsey was openly discussing trying to get Crowley's diaries.
No, I'm not aware of that. Alfred Kinsey, of course, is one of the first and most popular, what they call sexologists, and he did a lot of research on sexuality. But he was a very perverted man. He interviewed a lot of pedophiles. He would encourage his graduate students to have group sex. He himself was reported to be bisexual. He would secretly videotape orgies in his own house for research purposes, of course. So he claimed, and he is sort of the foundation for understanding modern sexuality, which is strange because he had such a perverted view of it. So it doesn't surprise me that he was interested in Aleister Crowley. Crowley himself, a very, very strange and perverted individual, very sexually immoral. And again, I don't mean to place a judgment on this man, but he had sexual diseases. He had sex with prostitutes. He was a drug addict, and so if you're going to look at Aleister Crowley as this New Age guru, I think that he is an utter failure in that stance, because the Enlightenment teachings is supposed to make you a better person, make you understand your place in this universe and as a human, and connect you with your other humans and with the source of your creator and these divine rules and what we're supposed to do. And Crowley was just an utter failure, and I can even read some of the quotes from Crowley himself, where he says to worship people with fire and blood. Here's a quote from the Book of the Law, which one of his books that he claims was dictated to him by a demon that had possessed his wife. And, where you look at the teachings of Jesus or Muhammad or Buddha, and they're going to be, treat your neighbor like yourself, don't steal, be a good person. And here's a teaching from Aleister Crowley, page 41 of the Book of the Law. Damn them who pity, kill and torture, spare them not. The best blood is the blood of the moon, and then the fresh blood of a child, and last that of the beast. Worship me with fire and blood and swords and spears. He's just an utter evil person that taught completely contradictory philosophies to the code of morality that humanity should live by.
No, I couldn't agree more, and it just disgusts me whenever I, turn on the BBC or the Discovery Channel, and all of a sudden I'm hearing, Crowley's praises, and he's so misunderstood, and his study of Lucifer was really the study of technology, and he's a great man, and he was a real Renaissance man, and we should all follow him. It's more than perverse. Now, your new book is entitled The Illuminati Facts and Fiction. And the thing is that the Illuminati is about to take center stage in the mainstream consciousness with this new film, Angels and Demons, based on the prequel till the Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. And we discussed that a little bit on my show. But why don't you go over it for the Alex Jones listeners?
Yeah, the movie breaks next week, starring Tom Hanks. And it's not just an ordinary film about the Illuminati. It's based on Dan Brown's novel, The Angels and Demons, who is the author of the very popular Da Vinci Code, which has sold over 60 million copies as of several years ago. And as everybody probably knows, the Da Vinci Code gives this conspiracy theory that Jesus had a family and that the secret societies are hiding that family from the evil Catholic Church, who has their secret societies that are tracking down the family members and killing them. I mean, it was a very, very controversial book. When the movie came out, it was just the talk of the dinner table around the world. Angels and Demons is the prequel to that. The book was published in 2000, just a few years before Angels and Demons. And it's about the Illuminati plotting to blow up Vatican City in Rome with an antimatter bomb as a retribution for them allegedly arresting their members back in the past.
The GCN Radio Network, providing the world with hard-hitting talk radio. GCN, great talk radio starts here.